Hello. I wanted to go over one of the kits I recently released. It doesn't have instructions with it because I thought it would be pretty much self-explanatory. Somebody said that maybe I could put something out to help out. So I recently released SM35008, which is the running gear for the Bradley, the US M2, M2A1, M2A2, M2A2 ODS, and technically the M2A3. Anyways, so in that release, you get, real quick, the new idler mount. And the important thing about the idler mounts in this case are the Tamiya kit gave them to you and they were equal across the back. That's not the way they are in real life. So the right hand side or passenger side mounts right here, so not quite all the way to the end but close. There should be about 1/8 of an inch or approximately 2 millimeters. Not really perfect on that right there, and it doesn't have anything other than an indicator for having it flat against the bottom of the hull. The passengers or the driver's side or left-hand side goes right up in the corner, and there is an indicator. It's basically a notch. You just push it right in there and that's where it goes. However, then your idler center is here and here, just like on the real vehicle. That means that when you use this idler, these tracks provided by Tamiya are kind of tight. My recommendation for that is one of two things. One, when you put the track together, don't glue it together, and instead, now I've already glued this together, so this isn't maybe the best way to do this example, but anyways, here's the place where it was glued. What I would do is not glue it together, but run it to this middle return roller. So you have room, you can glue it to this with a gap in there with the side skirts on. Like so. You won't see it unless you look up underneath it. Now you might say, oh, well, you know, somebody's going to look up underneath it. This is important. I got the suspension because I want to show it off. Well, in that case, I would get another Bradley track link, maybe two. I am currently working on trying to get some spacers included in the kit, but right now I don't have anything that'll work. But the track links that are in the main kit, but you can't get them individually, or in the AFV Club separate kit, do work with this. So there's the first heads up. Anyways, idler mounts. The next thing you have is there's 1, 2, 3, 4 shocks for the side. Tamiya skipped this detail completely, so the first 3 road wheel stations and the last road wheel station get this. You also get these return rollers. 2 of them are close to the hull, 1 of them is double wheeled and a little farther off the hull. And just to make a point, yeah, these things go on. Now the stuff you're hearing is other parts inside there, so it's nothing. Anyways, you get a outer and an inner road wheel and a space to put the poly cap if that's what you want. So these are just like the Tamiya kit pieces, and they go together just like the Tamiya kit pieces. Put the poly cap in there, put it on the road wheel arm, straight up replacement. What makes these wheels so much better than the kit ones is no Bradley wheels, or technically M109 artillery wheels, should have a rim. There's no rim. When they vulcanize the rubber on, it goes all the way up to the top of the rim right here, so that it's smooth all the way around. Lots and lots of pictures out there that show this. And also, all the details are correct based on a crap ton of measurements and photos and things that I did on real vehicles, and the wheel lip here curves around like it should. It doesn't go flat on the inside. It's a minor detail, but it's one that I worked on hard and rather proud of. The road wheels on the outside ones do not show it, but the inside ones do, and that's actually pretty good. If you look at the, okay, I'm just going to keep dropping these. It's very cold here in Minnesota right now, so very dry. You'll notice that there are no rivets at all in there. That means that this is a steel wheel. If you look at this, you'll see that there are rivets on the inside here. And if you look inside, you can see there are rivets inside there. That means this is an aluminum wheel. What the U.S. Army did was it decided it needed to shave some weight off of this vehicle for whatever reason, and decided that to do that would be to take the all steel wheels and have an aluminum component to it to reduce the weight. Those rivets are putting some of the steel portion of it and riveting it to an aluminum part to reduce the weight. This one right here shows you the outer wheel with the rivets in the back there, and the rivets are then on the corresponding back. Anyhow, that's the road wheels. Also correct detail on the back with the bolts correspond with the bolts in the front. However, not exactly. However, this is a little bit set up differently because it needs to fit on the Tamiya road wheel arms. This was not made to be 100% correct. Kind of like some of these other pieces. This is meant to help the Tamiya kit be good, not to make it completely accurate. That would take a lot more work than, they basically take a new kit, hence the main kit. This will get your M2A2 ODS in particular, that's what this kit is, up to speed. Finally, the final drive in the front, I have it oriented correctly with some plugs for the motorization holes, so you just take the kit apart. Here's the part, put it in the hole up in there, glue it all in, put some putty in, sand it out, and you've got this a lot more accurate. Not 100%, but a lot more accurate, including these thicker pieces at the front right there. And they go about as far in as I can do it without having to modify more things and get more things for this kit. I didn't want to get out of hand. That said, another part really hard, the sprocket. This is the most accurate sprocket out on the market. Why do I say that? Because when you look at a real Bradley sprocket, this is the front outside. It has this particular shape here, and then on the back side, I don't know if it's a brake drum or what it is, but this is a completely different shape. They are not mirrored. However, everything else that's out there on the market, the front and the back are mirrored. The front just has the lightning holes. This took a lot of work, but this is accurate. And it is scaled for Tamiya track. It's scaled for the Meng track. If for some reason you have Meng track laying around, you want to use it, this will work with the sprocket and everything just fine. It also works with the AFV Club track just fine. I might as well demonstrate. But it goes right on there, nice and tight, just the way you'd want it to be. Just about perfect. So there's that. And this sprocket slides right on. Just right on like that. Glue it, done. Excuse me. And finally, we have the idler. And I'm still working a little bit with this, but something about the idlers, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side. And 1, 2 on this side. These are supports. These can be taken out. I'm trying to see if I can print these without those in there. And occasionally there's a little bit of a skin of resin inside these holes, but just clean it out. So this again slides right over the idler, no problem. Glue it on, done. These are one piece. Things you need to think about when you've got this kit is the bumps. These are taken off of the supports, but I am not sanding these all down. You do not want to pay me to do that. I'm expensive. So I thought I'd leave it all for you, but sand the bumps down on the bottom of this. Sands the bumps on the small return rollers. Pull one out here. Small return rollers are again on the bottom side here. That's what needs to be sanded. On the large double return roller on each side, you have these to be sanded out here, and then again the supports. These have to be printed on here, but they're easy to take off. Again, you don't want to pay me to do that. The road wheels as well, when you get them, from the way I print it, they're going to be some supports right along the bottom. And depending on, there'll be some on the corresponding face up above. And there are also usually at least 2 little supports inside the hole. Again, they can just be cleaned right out, no problem. And again, same with the front. There are the 2 supporting rods in here, even though this is a closed face. But if you want to put the poly cap in, that's got to go out. And there's your rough on the bottom. Dealing with this is the shocks. The supports are right here on this front edge and a little bit in here. Not nearly as much of a problem. For the idler arms, doesn't matter which one, you have the roughness inside here on the bottom, basically the part that's going to go up against the hull, and then there are a couple of supports right in here behind this shock arm. And when you get these parts, the final drive support nubs are here. There are a couple on here. They're inside here. You don't have to worry about them inside or inside here. On this flat face, you don't really have to worry about these unless they get in the way. And there might be 1 or 2. Oh, I'm sorry. There might be 1 or 2 on this face, but I tried really hard to keep the supports off of this as much as possible because you have your 4 bolts detail in there. So, yeah, that's where the nubs are that are going to have to be dealt with. And for the initial orders of the suspension, I'm also including a accurate spare wheel, actually a pair of accurate spare wheels. They're aluminum at this point, and they have the same problem of nubs along the bottom, and then on the opposite end of the wheel there might be a few spots that need to be cleaned up. So that covers that conversion right there. I hope that helps out. Any questions, let me know. Thank you.